Hotep, I am the Amen Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law. We are 4dterminator.com, America's only 4D education service. Thank God I'm not a lawyer. Thank God this is not a law firm. All right. We don't advocate that you don't support your human offspring. We simply advocate that you made them in private, take care of them in private. Today, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to teach you how to utilize the Constitution to enable you to have Article 3 standing in federal court to sue these greaseballs, okay? Now, gentlemen, the Constitution pays only homage to human beings. It tells you right here at the top in the preamble, we the people of the state of New Jersey, grateful to who? Almighty God. Genesis 1:26, and God created man in the image and likeness of other gods, okay? So, and if you see the word person in the Constitution, it is referring to you as a human. It is not the same as a person in the statutes, like a non-custodial pay rent or an obligation. So, you use your Article 1. All right, it clearly states that all men are by nature equal, free, and independent, and have certain natural unalienable rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending and life, liberty, and property, acquiring, possessing, protecting property, and of pursuing and obtaining safety and happiness. All right, these are your these are inherent rights, gentlemen. Now, here's where it gets fun. Article 2, all political power is inherent in the people. All right, we, the people, meaning you and I. All right, government is instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people. Now, ask yourself this question. Under Title 4D of the Act, is there any benefit? Any protection or any security from it? No, there's not. All right, now here's the fun part. And you have the right at all times to alter or reform the same whenever the public good may require it. All right, so it says public good, not private good. Pay attention to the words. All right, but these are your rights. Now, ask yourself this question. Do you have these rights right now under 4D of the Act? The answer is no. All right, so this is what had to happen. As you know, the governments or corporations, they can only deal with artificial persons. So they had to create the non-custodial pay rent. Okay? So we're going to switch over. Okay, so as a man, okay, and I want you to pay attention to the wording here. As a man is the adult male of the human species above the age of puberty. All right? A man's name consists of one or more Christian or given names and a surname or family name. Amen of the family Osiris. That's simple. So, again, only men who are created by God are born equal, free, and independent and have certain rights. Okay? They know this. So what they did was they converted you. They had to convert you. And the reason they had to convert you, where's it at? I got it down here somewhere. All right, and here it is. All right, inasmuch as every government is an artificial person, an abstraction, and a creature of the mind only. A government can interface only with other artificial persons. The imaginary, having neither actuality or substance, is foreclosed from creating and attaining parity with the tangible. That is you. The legal manifestation of this is that no government, as well as any law agency, 4D agency, aspect, court, contractor, etc., can concern itself with anything other than corporate artificial persons and the contracts between them. That is case law that has never been overturned. So what they do is they got slick, okay? And what they did was they converted you. All right. Conversion is the process of causing something to change from one form to another. They converted you from a Genesis 1:26 man who's by nature equal, free, and independent. All right. They converted you to a non-custodial pay rent, which according to their statutes is positively identified by a Social Security number. Social Security numbers are not forms of positive identification. And they're also the property of the Social Security Administration. So because the non-custodial pay rent is identified by the social that deems it property. Property has no rights. Okay, that's why you go in these hearings. Oh, I want to. We're not here for that. They're going to tell you. All right, they're not there because you don't have any rights. Because remember, properly identified. Identified means sameness in law. The person, subject, or thing before the court as claimed to be, which is in Title 4D, it's going to be a non-custodial pay rent or an obligation. Okay, so they had to convert you. Okay, that's the only way that they can get you. How they converted you was they used the Social Security number. Social Security numbers, if you read the SS5 form, page 4, I believe it is, on the very top, it tells you that it says protect your card. Number one, it's not your card. You're the holder. Then it tells you only show the card when you are applying for a new job, getting a bank account, or applying for benefits from certain U.S. agencies. They don't tell you within the small print that the actual routine use of that Social Security number is for Title 4D purposes. So they can track you down, track down your employment so they can garnish your wages, take your taxes, whatever they're doing, it's all done through a social. So they converted the social to this person called a non-custodial parent, which is property by its own definition. As property, it has no rights. And furthermore, as property, now that they've deemed you property, now they're in violation of the 13th Amendment. Involuntary servitude and slavery was abolished. Not under Title 4D. It's just how they do it. So the first thing they do, all right, is they use what's called capitis diminutia maxima. All right, this is the highest and most comprehensive loss of your Article 1, Section 1 status of man, who is by nature equal, free, and independent. This occurred when your title of man was changed by the 4D crime family from your Article 1, Section 1, equal, free, and independent rights to Title 4D bondage, when they converted you to a slave. All right, when they did that, it swept away with you all your rights of state citizenship. You don't want to be a federal citizen, and all your family rights. Okay, so they converted you by using capitis diminutia maxima. Now, in order for Title 4D to work properly for these clowns, all right, they created their own language. Remember, gentlemen, the mention of one thing is the exclusion of another, and I'm going to show you that. All right, so if you look at the glossary of common child support terms, it says the purpose of this glossary is to provide a listing of acronyms and definitions of what terms used by who? Child support worker. And this includes contractors, whoever's in child support. This is the language that they are using. It will serve to break down the barriers of communication with other child support workers. There it is, barriers of communication. All right, communication among caseworkers, all right, is a major key to processing cases and collecting child support payments successfully. Now, in addition, the glossary is helpful to both custodial and non-custodial pay rents and communicating with the caseworker and the court. Gentlemen, they have their own language. All right, but you'll notice here, it doesn't say men or women. It says non-custodial pay rents. Okay, and that's what they converted you to. So if you go through the definitions, all right, and I love this, and this again is evidence of the conversion. These are definitions from the Glossary of Common Child Support Terms, which is a federal glossary, and I got some Black laws terms in here too. Now you notice I got my red and my green. All right, so under their definitions, an alleged father is a man named as the father. Okay, so alleged father is a man. Now, this man is named as the father. Wait, didn't your mother and father already give you a name? So now they're renaming you. Okay, what is a name? All right, a name is the designation of an individual person or a firm or corporation. Okay, so in this case, this man is the individual person they're talking about. Okay, firm or corporation we'll get to real quick. All right, in New Jersey manual, I love it. It says all in section 1208. It says all litigants must be properly named and properly identified as either obligor or obligee. Okay. Again, somebody renamed you. That's part of the conversion. Now, father, what is a father? As used in law, this term is according to the context and the nature of its instrument. What is an instrument? An instrument is a contract, gentlemen. Okay, somehow, somewhere. And majority of you did it by the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. And gentlemen, just so you're aware, you don't sign a birth certificate. What you sign is a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. You put they get a social security number at that magic moment. Then they use the legal name and put it on the birth certificate. You don't sign the birth certificate. That's a warehouse receipt. All right. So a father is created by contract. These are known as legal fathers. All right. And you'll see the word parent. Now, biological father, again, a man. Okay. Natural father. Legal father, a man who is recognized by law as the parent of a child. Now, you're going to see it switch up. Putative father, the person alleged to be the father. Okay. So herein lies the problem. Legal father. Have you ever seen, and I'm sure you have, they have on YouTube that men who are forced to pay child support for a child that's not there. All right. This is because they are recognized by law to be a legal father. Okay. You become a legal father by signing some documents, or they just shove it up in your ass. All right. So you'll see the word man in their definitions, but when you get to the statutes, Title 4D statutes and its Code of Federal Regulations, you will not see the word man. You will see only the word non-custodial parent. Okay. So non-custodial parent, the parent who has an obligation to pay child support, also known as the obligor. Now, the obligor in this sense, as a person, all right, is not such because he is human, but because rights and duties are ascribed to him. Okay. The person is the legal subject. All right, that's what an obligor is. So now the federal statutes clearly states 42 USC 666. What is that? Mark of the beast. All right, A3C. Clearly, it says notice of non-custodial parents, social security number, all right, and home address. And I put zip code there for a reason, because don't forget, anything dealing with federal law only can be dealt with in the District of Columbia. When they send you mail with a zip code on it, you accept it, you're stating that you are a resident of the district and within the purview of their municipal bylaws. Okay, that's how they're ever just spread out like herpes. So the non-custodial parent is identified by social. 20 CFR 422-103D, social security numbers and the name are the property of the Social Security Administration. If you are the holder. If you look on the back of the card, it'll say this card is invalid if not signed by the holder. You are just holding it. It is not your card. It is not your number. It is not your name. All right. That is a legal name, and they are not forms of identification. So your legal name, if you look on the SS5 application, it says it. Your legal name will be shown on the face of the card. Now, that designation, the name, now it turns into the designation of an individual person, or excuse me, the designation of a firm or corporation. Okay. Remember, name. Look at that. Designation of an individual person. All right. That's your name as a man. Now, when they converted that social security number into a non-custodial parent, all right, it became the designation of a firm or corporation. All right. It's property is what it is. All right. Again, property has no rights. Very simple, folks. So as a man, you have these rights. You are by nature equal, free, independent. You got due process. You have everything. All right. You were born equal, free, independent with the inherent and indefeasible rights of enjoying and defending your life. Let me ask you a question. Can you defend yourself under Title 4D of the Act? No, you cannot. Can you defend your property under Title 4D of the Act? No, you cannot. Can you defend your reputation? No, you cannot. Why can't you? Well, your reputation is going to be destroyed when they report a deadbeat to the credit agency. All right. So you don't, as a non-custodial parent, which is property, you do not get these rights. They're not yours. Let me show you what the non-custodial pay rent is subject to. All right. Number one, non-custodial pay rents are the creation of the federal government. 42 USC 666 AC3. We just read it. All right. It's positively identified by a social security number, which is property, and subject by operation of law to punishment for failure to pay in the form of liens on property, offset unemployment compensation, seizures of sale and property. All right. It's subject to all these things. Okay. As a man, you can't be subject to these things. And this is done by operation of law. Let me show you how slick they made this. Let me show you how slick they did it. Damn it. Never mind. Okay, here it is. All right. Liens arise. Let me show you. Let me show you this. We're going to go to 42. We're going to go to the mark of the beast, USC 666. Sorry about that. Well, somebody was buzzing at the office door. All right, so let's go here. All right, number one, mark of the beast, 42 USC 666, requirements of statutory prescribed procedures to improve effectiveness of child support enforcement. So what this should say, improve effectiveness of enslaving you, converting you, and then enslaving you, and then punishing you if you don't pay. Okay, so we're going to go down to section of A4, liens. Liens arise by operation of law against real and personal property for amounts overdue owed by what? A non-custodial pay rent. All right. We're going to look up the word operation of law. Oop, I passed it. I sure did. There it is. All right, listen. Operation of law expresses the manner in which rights and sometimes liabilities devolve upon a person by the mere application to the particular transaction of the established rules of law without the act or cooperation of the party himself. All right. As a man, that can't happen to you because you're free. All right. So by operation of law, all right, this property, this non-custodial pay rent, all right, it's subject to liens. All right. They take your unemployment, seizure. All right. I mean, reporting arrears, of course, the number one killer, garnishment. Okay. Federal jail, all that shit. Okay. This is what a non-custodial parent pay rent is subject to. Okay. There's no due process of law for the non-custodial pay rent. All right. They look, you go to work. The social security number, gentlemen, is the key piece of information from which all 4D computerized systems thrive off. Without the social, they cannot find you. Okay. It is 100% driven by the social security number. They find you through it. Okay. That's how they find your job to garnish your wages. That's how they find your driver's license. That's how they intercept your taxes. Okay. Did you know that when you get a new job, they have a law or a statute. It's called new hire reporting. When you get that job, the new employer is supposed to, they have a web link that he goes to. He puts your personal information in there, social security number, your home address, employee number. All right, that gets emailed in. They run it through, comes back hot on child support, bam, he gets an OMB form for garnishing. Okay, it's just that simple. It's by operation of law. Now, the transaction that they were talking about under the operation of law, all right, Title 4D, women who are not on welfare, they have to apply for it. When they apply for it, there's a $35 application fee, which is the 4D crimes family fifth largest stream of money. So if all right, you do the math, they're saying they're serving over 500,000 people, whatever. You multiply that by 35,000, that's going in their pocket. Okay, so being that the government, you have the rights according to the Constitution. Let's pull that back up. There we go. Now, this is how you use the Constitution. So you now know that you were converted to a non-custodial pay rent, which is identified by a social security number and its property. All right. You also now know that the non-custodial pay rent was created as the creation of the federal government, not Almighty God. All right. It is an artificial person. It is a corporation, and is the only thing that the 4D agency that operates in any state can deal with. Okay. That's why I keep telling you, stop accepting mail. Okay. So you'll take your Constitution, and what you'll do is you'll take Article Section 2 here, and you'll write yourself a little cease and desist letter, and you'll write it to, in Jersey, it's Patricia Brish. Oh, Patricia, you got over on that last round, but you ain't going to escape the peril that we got coming up for you in federal court, baby. And it is coming. So number one, if all political power is inherent in people, then we are the people. We have the right to demand something be done or something not be done. Okay. This is one of my favorite ones too. Hold on. All right. The person, let's see here. We want to go to the, all right, we're going to use 7, right, to a trial by jury. And I want the right to assemble. Here it is. All right. Title 1, Section 18. Okay. The people have the right to freely assemble together, right? To consult for the common good. Your right to assemble also pertains to your right to associate. Okay. You have a right to assemble. You have a right to associate. More importantly, you have a right to not associate. You have a right to shop at Walmart. You have the right not to. Walmart has the right to let you shop there. Walmart has the right to not. All right. You have a right to associate with Walmart as a customer. Okay. You have the right not to. So herein lies the problem. When you first got tricked into attending a 4D hearing, right, in front of a 4D contractor, with 4D contracted sheriffs as bailiffs, okay, the first thing they'll do is they'll use mail fraud, and they'll send you a document. It looks like a court document. Well, you are hereby ordered to appear, and if you don't appear, it'll say you're being sued, and if you don't appear, a warrant may be out for your arrest, or will suspend your driver's license. Either or, there's some type of threat or coercion on there to get you to come in. Once you go in there, that is the conversion, because they've already got the information, all right, a description about you. Now what they've gotten is they found you through some type of license, whatever you have. They got all your information that you already put out there. Social security number being that key piece of information. Okay. So then they converted you. Okay. You walked right into it. And incidentally, gentlemen, just so you're aware, the jurisdiction of the 4D, the courts that operate under 4D, is chancery or equity. Equity has nothing to do with positive law. It deals with the sphere of morals, right? So you got somebody deciding what's fair and equitable. That's what equity is. All right. So now that they converted you, they throw a temporary order, right? Most of the in New Jersey, this first one is usually through a 4D hearing officer. That order gets he or she makes recommendations to the judge, and then the judge they rubber stamp it with the judge's signature on it. They call it ratified, but ratified means it's a votable transaction. Now they've converted you. That's 100% conversion. You are now, every time you walk in one of these hearings, you deal with them on the phone, whatever, they are not talking to you, all right, as a man. They are talking to you in relation to a non-custodial parent, which is property. Okay. That's why so in other words, if they don't convert you, they can't circumvent the Constitution. When you don't accept their mail, when you don't voluntarily participate and go to these hearings without being, threatened to do so, okay, then that's lack of your consent. Now you would need to exercise your right to write a letter to Eileen Frisch or whatever. You find out who the 4D crime boss is in your state, get their address, and you write a letter. And you use the Constitution. Well, you know what? I'm demanding, number one, we got a problem here because under Title 4D of the Social Security Act, in which you're performing, you are violating my title of man, which is by nature equal, free, and independent, and you are violating my natural and inalienable rights, all right, of enjoying and defending my life, my liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining my safety, happiness, and security, whatever. Okay, so I want you to stop. Okay, upon receipt of this letter, you are going to order the termination. Remember, the 4D crime boss, she's everybody's boss. All right, under the contract, the judges are employed by her. The clerks of the courts, everybody who's under that contract, all right, she is their boss. Remember that. And there's more female crime bosses than there are men. All right, so you're on the bus stop waiting for a bus. Big giant guy comes over by the name of the state. He's going to work. You're going to the beach. You got on flip-flops. He's got on steel-toe boots. All right. He steps on your foot. And obviously, yo, man, you're on my foot. And he turns around and looks at you and says, so. All right. Then you got to knock him out. So you write a letter to the 4D crime boss, and you let her know that you are standing on my foot. And upon receipt of this letter, you're going to get off my foot. If you don't get off my foot, then I'm going to sue you in federal court, or just put failure to comply with this order. Could result in legal action. You have rights, gentlemen. It's just you're not claiming them, you're not exercising them, and you're not using them. They converted you to property for the sole purpose of circumventing and bypassing the Constitution. Now, here's the deal. This is why what was it? The Minnesota case where they deemed child support unconstitutional. Well, it was deemed unconstitutional because of a technicality of the law. They haven't deemed it unconstitutional against you yet because you have not proven any constitutional violations. Foremost, you got to go through and you got to let them know, hey, man, they converted me. They converted that Social Security number that you use to obtain benefits from certain U.S. agencies to a non-custodial pay rent, which has no rights. And then they're just running through you right now. Okay? So, number one, if you read the case laws, gentlemen, Wehunt versus Ledbetter, the legislative intentions for Title 4D was to benefit the public treasury and the taxpayer, not any particular person. All right. So now we know that Title 4D, government is instituted for protection and security and benefit of the people. Title 4D is not. It was only intended to benefit the public treasury and taxpayers. Therefore, it's unconstitutional. All right. You, as a human being, under this Constitution, you have power. So therefore, by the power invested in me, I hereby exercise my unalienable right, all right, to abolish Title 4D services on the basis that they are slavish, absurd, and unconstitutional. That's the end of the story. Get off my foot. You call the next day, and that case is not terminated. All right. You want a full refund. You want it off your credit report. All right. And you want 6% interest. If she doesn't comply, then you sue her in federal court. Not only, well, you're suing her for deprivation of your rights. You'll have to show the court all the exactly how they deprived your rights. And that's exactly this formula right here is exactly what they do. Mail fraud, they send the mail to a man. That man walks into there under threat. He's compelled to associate intimately or expressly. All right, they convert him to a non-custodial pay rent by identifying him by a social security number, which is the property of the Social Security Administration. It's a violation of the 13th Amendment, the First Amendment. All right, it's a violation of the First Amendment in the United States, the Constitution for the United States of America. All right, clearly is what? Your right to assemble, your right to freedom of speech. Okay? Remember, anything you say can and will be used against you. But you're denied due process because when you walk in there, you're thinking that it's some type of court system, and it's not. All right? It has nothing to do with the court. You know what? This is what I'm going to do. Let me see if I can find this thing here. And I believe I have it up. With the TN. I have one of the contracts from Tennessee. You know what? I'll do that on another class. We'll do that on another class. But more importantly, let's look here. We'll go to 45 CFR 302.34. All right. All right. Now, gentlemen, they love to use trick words. 45 CFR 302.34 says cooperative arrangements. Okay. It's a contract. Now, 4D is a business for profit. I'll show you that in another video. All right. But as a business for profit, it had to provide a business plan. All right. And it requires them to go into, enter into agreements. All right. Agreement is a contract for arrangements under 303-107 of the chapter with who? Appropriate courts, law enforcement officials, district attorneys, attorneys generals, prosecutors, corrections officials. All right. So when they go into that contract, they have to, the region, the 4D agency must ensure that all contracts on C, specify that the parties will comply with 4D of the Act, implementing federal regulations and any other applicable federal regulations and requirements. You see anything about the Constitution in there? So they're required to comply with 40 of the Act, not the Constitution. It's unconstitutional. Okay. Read, let's see here. I'll show you the case law. All right. We'll use Wehunt versus Ledbetter. Pow. And gentlemen, there's tons of cases out here that you can utilize case laws when it comes to Title IV when you're suing them in court. All right. This is one of my favorites. It's Wehunt versus Ledbetter. Some chicks tried to sue the Georgia Department, the director of the Georgia Department of Human Services. And it, again, just like in Blessing versus Freestone, they came back and said, you're not entitled to it. All right. So here it is right here. All right. The state contends that 4D was enacted to recoup welfare expenditures to ease the burden on the state and federal physical, to check the rising tide of families forced to resort to public assistance, and to reward states with which maintain cost-effective and efficient child support recovery operations. By achieving net savings for the federal, state, and local governments, welfare appropriation, Title 4D will benefit the general public, which is the public treasury. All right, check it out. Now, the state was created, what, to be a benefit, security, and protection. We are their master. So check this out. It says participation in the 4D program is voluntary. So if it's voluntary for the state, you as the master, it is voluntary for you. All right. Now to the contract. Right here. Case law interpretation of Congress's power to legislate pursuant to the spending power has recognized that when Congress fixes the terms on which it shall disperse federal money to the state, it is much in the nature of a contract. Gentlemen, Title 4D is 100% contractual. Now, here's where the state loses its sovereignty. In return for federal funds, the states agree to comply with federally imposed conditions. Wait a minute. Constitution says the government was what? Instituted to be a benefit, security, and protection of the people, right? Not to subject itself to terms of a foreign corporation. The United States is a foreign corporation to the state, and the state is a foreign corporation to the United States. The United States is only supposed to be dealing within the Constitution. That's their constitutional 10th Amendment. Okay? The state is subject to the Constitution. The 4D crime family is not, gentlemen. You let them rock your world. All right? This is why I'm the God of law. You need help? Bang my email at hathorsec@gmail.com. It'll be down in the description box. Check out the website, 4dterminator.com. There's everything you need to know about 4D is on there. You can also schedule a webinar. We've been having some trouble. So if you need a consultation or you want to take one of my classes, just email me. All right, and we'll set you up Monday through. I pretty much got crazy days we work, but we got you covered, folks. All right, study. Stop accepting mail. Stop letting these people violate your rights. Send a letter to the 4D crime boss. Tell her to get off your foot, or you're going to sue her. If she doesn't get off your foot, then you sue her. You need help suing her? It's got a law, often duplicated, but I will never be imitated. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and we'll talk with you very, very soon. Peace.